Welcome back to At Home with Roby. I'm Patrick McIsaac from Roby Electric, along with Trent Haston from the Roby family of companies. We were talking we're with Will Coble from Andrew Roby Mountain Division, and Will and I were discussing a little bit about education and Will's passion. If you missed the last segment, go check out our podcast and listen to what Will has to say. We've been preaching this message for as long as we've had the show about the need for the younger generation to get into the trades and to get into construction in general. And I think hearing it from Will, Will, you did an excellent job of really portraying that passion of what you do. And of course, we also talked a little bit about building where in your location against rocks on the side of a mountain. Sure isn't easy, is it, bud?
It is, definitely not. And it's not only that foundation, but when we get into weather conditions up here, I know Trent touched on it a little bit with how he gets a little chilly and when he comes up here on job sites, but it is tough. It is really tough. I know just last year we were framing up a job at the top of a mountain, and we're trying to get it done in the wintertime, and it is 11 degrees outside, and the wind is whipping at 90 miles an hour, and it is making a sail out of about everything you put up there. So imagine working through those conditions with your bare hands. It is not a pretty sight at all.
Well, as we discussed, I mean, you're so fortunate to kind of combine old school with new school with having Rick Gentry with 40 years of experience in that environment in construction, along with your new school knowledge and education from the technology standpoint. I mean, you guys really have a dynamic team.
Yeah, and we worked great together. I mean, it's like you said, it's a really good team. As far as technology base, that's not. I'm just going to go ahead and say that's not really Rick's thing, but that is definitely something that I can step in and help him out with, so we can tag team it from both sides there, because we are in a world and an industry that is changing rapidly on a technological side of things, and I'm kind of here to help Rick on that standpoint. I help him get a lot of the stuff in the office done, estimating, pricing, building, things like that kind of take it off Rick's plate so he can be out in the field doing what he loves to do, checking on the job site, making sure that things are built well up here.
Well, I mean, strategically, Andrew Roby, the Roby family of companies, has a custom residential office in Boone, Western North Carolina, which includes Banner Elk, Grandfather, Linville Ridge, Blowing Rock. We have that office there because it's a second home market for many of our customers. We like to work for people that live in the mountains also, but a lot of our clients are still in Charlotte. They work in Charlotte. This is their second house. They're 2 hours away, vacation home, weekend house. So we're embracing technology. We're not trying to overdo it, but from putting a camera in the tree and taking photos along the way to we've embraced over the last couple of years a client management software called Builder Trend, where the clients can log on and see, we put a journal on there and we put estimates and subcontractor quotes, and has an updated schedule that updates as we add input, the data. So we are embracing, I think that's where you come through, you being a young whippersnapper, yep. Millennial. You come through and
easy on the millennials.
And did I growl when I said millennial?
Well, I got you. I'm like the oldest millennial, so
but,
I'm on your
but
side.
I'm saying this in a positive light, you little millennial sucker. That we need you guys so that we can, us old school minds, us old school contractor type, can get information efficiently and accurately and adequately to our clients for what their need level is in Charlotte.
That's what I was going to say.
Or remotely, whether they're I always say in China. I don't know that many people that go to China, but I always use that as my example.
Well, and if your house is being built in Banner Elk, Grandfather, Linville Ridge, and you're here in Charlotte, I mean, that's huge, right? I mean, to be able to have that ability to see what's going on while having to hop in the car and ride up there.
Or if you're doing,
you guys are hitting the nail on the head, and I mean, it all stems back to Andrew Roby, how it was founded, and Trent and Travis and Ron and Glenn, and I mean, those guys were able to build an empire based off of serving your clientele, and it's all service based, and not everybody does that, sadly enough. But we take that from Charlotte and we incorporate it up here in the mountains. And like you guys are saying, these are second homes to people, so they're not going to be checking on it on a daily basis. They're not going to be living through a renovation. So there is an enormous trust factor there to where they need to say, look, I'm putting this in your hands. I may not even look at this job site for a month, but I'm trusting that you guys are keeping me updated with the right information. It's getting built properly, and it's going to be a beautiful finished project in the end. And that is again where Rick and I can tag team it together and make sure there's no overlaps in communication, and that it's a smooth going process from start to finish.
But so I mean, we do handyman all the way from handyman to new custom houses, just like in Charlotte. Mm-hmm. So a good example is somebody comes up there and spends Christmas holidays with their family and their kids and a couple friends, and while they're at it, they make a little punch list, 20 items or whatever, mm-hmm. and give it to you and leave and say, I'll be back in a month. Can you please handle this? Well, y'all update Builder Trend. They could, before they call you and waste time and energy making a phone call, they could log on to Builder Trend and say, I want to see what they've done on my punch list and check it out if they have access, if that's how they like to do it. So that's one case. And then also, for many of our clients, you guys have a lockbox in our office. We keep keys for them so that if there is a problem or they need somebody to go by and check their house while they're in Charlotte, if there's a bad winter storm, oftentimes I'll get a text and say, hey, I know it's getting down to 10 degrees tonight. Can you go make sure my water's off or not going to freeze or what? Yeah. I don't know. I'm just a salesman. I don't really know construction.
That's exactly right. I mean, winterizing homes is a huge deal. You don't want a pipe to burst. And then you're not only dealing with a burst pipe, but you're dealing with thousands of dollars in water damage. And that's something, and I mean, it can be anything from, can you meet the exterminator at my house? Can you check to make sure I cut the oven off before I left? You know, things like that. We're here to serve our clients. And we serve everybody up here that will give us the opportunity to do so. I know we have one client up here who we've done some smaller projects and handyman work for, and he was comfortable with the service side of things, the communication, so much so that he is now building a new home with us in Charlotte, which is awesome. It can work both ways like that.
That's it. So, what do you do? What mountain people do? Do you fly fish? Do you snow ski? What do you do? All that stuff.
Well, I'm definitely a fly fisherman. That is what brought me to the mountains to begin with. That's really what brought me to school up here. I've been doing it my entire life. I would say I've been starting on it since I was about 6. My dad, avid fly fisherman, he always said, son, we're not going to be spin fishing today. We're not going to be spin fishing ever. You're going to learn how to cast a fly rod.
Cool.
So I've been doing that for several years. We go all around this area. Been doing it since I was a little fella. I actually guided some fly fishing trips and things like that for outfitters up here during my course at Appalachian State. So very familiar with the water in the area just through that. And it's definitely a love, but the outdoors is it's just the best place to be in the world, especially when you're in the high country.
Well, something Trent alluded to. I mean, I guess what a service. I mean, if you're a homeowner in Charlotte and you have a property up in Boone, Blowing Rock, Banner Elk area, and you have a resource like Will Coble in the market that can shut off your water. I was going to ask you, Will, if you were an ice skater, because I can only imagine what would happen if a homeowner's house flooded in your market. I mean, they would pretty much be donating a skating rink to the house down the mountain, right? I mean, all that water would just freeze. I mean, what a mess.
Oh my goodness, yes. You want to make sure everything's buttoned up and taken care of before you leave your home, especially if you live 2 hours away in Charlotte.
Right.
That's a problem. If you live 12 hours away in Florida, which there's a lot of residents from Florida that live up here in the high country, that's an even bigger problem. But we're here. We're a phone call away. Might take us 20 minutes to get to the house, shut it off, bang, give you a call. Hey, everything's going great. Everything's taken care of. Nothing to worry about.
Well, and I think that's the beauty of what you have up there is you have 60-plus years of trust that's been built in this market that you can transfer to that market. Where, again, if you're a Charlotte homeowner and you need some help and you need somebody to go by, I mean, if you have a hidden key or whatever you need them to get in to take care of shutting off your water, I mean, what a great way to start a relationship on somebody's second home. Well, we've got about 30 seconds left. If you could tell us where the office is, give us the phone number for your office and just tell us how to get in touch with you. You got about 20 seconds.
Okay, I'll make it quick. So we are off 105 going outside of Boone to Banner Elk, right after you pass the Hound Ears exit on your left going towards Shoals Mill. We're past that exit. About a quarter mile on your right, you'll see our sign. The address for that is 6858 North Carolina Highway 105 South. Our office phone number up here is 828-963-4747.
Ladies and gentlemen, Will Coble, Andrew Roby Mountain Division.
Thanks for joining us from the high country, Will.
I appreciate it, guys.
We'll be right back.